Mr. One of the few gem of people who actually leave comments. So I thank you. So it's all going all over the world, all over TikTok and everything about the Will Smith and Chris Rock situation. So we'll play devil's advocate. As I also answered you in the comments, Mr. Maddison, I'm kind of on the fence because I'm not in a relationship at the current moment. I do have a crush on the very beautiful and breathtakingly dangerous Zeta Zhang. If the good Lord allows me to marry this girl, and I was in that situation, not the open marriage and all that stuff, then I would say that I would have definitely done the same thing. However, I thought about that earlier. So before we agree that I would do the same thing, let's say I would do the same thing, just not on live TV. I'm old school. Um, in the army, we had this thing called sock parties, where you load a bar of sock and a soap and beat that private that ain't doing his thing. We've never had to do that when I was in Bravo or Delta or Golf. God knows I probably would have been that private because I went in old as fuck because I went in at 37. But if I'm in his situation, and we all know that Will Smith and them have been very open about their marriage, and it's all over TikTok. Everybody's they're punking Will about how he bitch slapped Chris Rock, but won't do anything about the guy who Jada apparently had an affair with. Okay, so dealings of the heart are very difficult for everybody. More so that for us men than women. And I'm going to explain that before I go too deep into detail. I'm sorry, Mr. Maddison. See, men, we're supposed to be the tough ones. We're supposed to be the strong ones. We're supposed to be raised to never show emotions and all the other stuff. I just want to get my hair out of the way in case you're wondering what I'm doing. So we're not supposed to show emotions. We're supposed to be rough. At least that's how it was when I was being brought up. I don't think I'm going to be doing any Spider-Man videos tonight, but I got enough issues right now. Anyway, that one piece of hair. Oh, that's not a hair. That is a thread. Fucking A. Please don't Tom and Jerry this thing. Okay, long story. So, like I said, if I'm not in an open marriage, and it's just me and my future wife, Zeta Zhang, and he said some shit like that, knowing that a woman's hair is their sanctuary. And for a person like me who's part native, our hair is also our sanctuary. It has great significance and great meanings. And if you ask any long-haired native, they'll tell you the only time we'll really cut it is if it's necessary. I'm not a full native, so I didn't know this until like last year. But with what I'm going to continue to grow my hair now, maybe $70 million. I'm never going to get dumb enough to need somebody who's going to give me $70 million to cut this shit off. So therefore, I would have had to talk to Mr. Rock after the cameras went off. And by talk, I mean not a verbal beatdown. We had a cadence in the army that goes like this. Down by the river, took a little walk, ran into Charlie, we had a little talk. We kicked them, we beat them, we threw them in the river, laughed as they drowned. We don't need Charlie hanging around. So I would have to meet him away from the cameras, away from everybody, and my pimp smack would have probably been a royal beatdown. Now let's look at it from the other way, because I know how comedians roll, and sometimes comedians hit the mark, and sometimes they should probably leave that joke at home. This was one of those times where that joke should have been left at home, because balding is an issue. It's not just a man issue, it is a woman's issue. And as a man, you should be more than willing to defend your wife at almost every turn. Let me explain that before that goes the other way. When I say almost every turn, you know who your wife is. If you marry someone who starts trouble, you better believe that you're gonna have to fight whether you want to or not. That being said, if my wife is getting into a fight with another woman, that becomes my wife's problem. Alright? If my wife gets into a fight with another man, it becomes my problem. With one exception. If the good Lord lets me marry the breathtakingly beautiful and dangerously sexy Zeta Zhang, she's beating up men in the ring. So yeah, I'm not gonna worry too much about that. So, but if she needs backup, I'll be there to hand her the chair. Now, in my real life, I'm single. I have no children. My life fucking sucks. You guys keep me alive. So the reason why I'm on the fence is because he defended her honor, and I didn't watch the Oscars because as an actor, I know the closest thing to an Oscar I'm gonna get is not even on my dresser anymore. I have a little tiny statue that says actor written on it. I have no idea where it is. I have a little tiny statue that my dad gave me. And we both laughed at it because it was cute and it was cool. And I wish I could find it, but I can't. Which really fucks up this part of the video and the point that I was trying to make. Okay? So that's a wash. When I stop recording this video, I can almost guarantee you that's when I'm going to find a damn thing. Yeah. It's going to happen when I stop making the video. So, I'm never going to get an Oscar. Because no one except for the 158 of you even know who the hell I am. But, there's a time and a place for everything. There's never not a place to defend your woman's honor. There's just a way about doing it that you need to figure out how to do that. Like I said, meeting him out in the parking lot, whole different ball game. What Mr. Smith did was basically commit a assault with millions of witnesses. So if he goes to court, all they really have to do is just bring up the video. And since I am studying police science and criminal justice and I have 2 classes left, he don't have a chance of winning the case. But at the same time, here in Virginia, as I said this on my TikTok earlier, fighting words are against the law. You know, if you intentionally provoke someone to beat your ass, that's kind of your fault. If I'm here and I start talking about people's moms and shit, and someone here on YouTube knows exactly where I live, and I've said really horrible shit about their mom, first, I fucked up because I recorded it. Don't record your crimes. That's a really stupid move. And second, when we go to court, if that guy comes and assaults me, he has a case because I verbally assaulted his mother, and he might be real sensitive about his mom. Maybe his mom died in childbirth, and I didn't know that, so my ignorance got my ass kicked. See what I'm saying? So this guy, hell, the world knows that Jada Pinkett has alopecia. Chris Rock kind of carried it a little bit too far. You know, he kind of did with that G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see you in it. Alright? Now here's the thing. In acting, as with all jobs, there are selected few. Alright? We know this because I've been working for 21 years on trying to get a career started and have not. Therefore, I changed my name from James Williams Jr. to Echo Finn Grey Wolf, and I am building myself out as a native versus a person who is mixed. Because being mixed hasn't gotten me anywhere. So we're hoping that the next 20 years, if I live long enough to reach 80, I will be more notable as Echo Fang Grey Wolf versus James Williams Jr. This is where you guys come in with the prayers. So, in this incident, you know, if Chris Rock would have dropped the jokes before he even got to the G.I. Jane thing, this shit probably would have never happened. Now, see, all the other jokes, they were fine. I've seen clips of Will and Jada smiling through all the jokes until they became part of the joke. Alright, now here's how this works, because I'm a very sensitive cat too. But it also depends on the sensitivity. if you are picking on people that I know personally, and they are handicapped, or they are blind, or they are living in the alphabet community, because I have some nephews and I have some cousins that live in the alphabet community, and let's say you calling them out by name, and I know my male nephews and my cousin who's on that route, um, they can handle themselves, you know. But let's say one of my nephews is a child and he's going in that direction. Now I got to beat that grown ass man's ass because a child cannot defend themselves against a grown ass man. You see why I'm on the fence? Because there is a time and a place for everything. I am not going to promote violence. As y'all see my martial arts. I am not going to promote violence, but y'all see my martial arts. And martial arts in itself can be misconstrued as violence, which is why I'm not going to promote violence. But at that same time, if he's saying something like about my wife or my autistic child, if I had children, or something about me that could impact my career, I probably would have done the same thing. Now, I'm single, so if I didn't know Miss Pickett and he says some shit about that, I have no dog in the fight. But because he's married, he has to defend her honor. And again, people are picking sides. I am not picking sides because you can go too far with the joke. And as I tell my nephews this all the time, you can always talk your way into a fight. You can't always talk your way out because sometimes rational minds pumped on adrenaline and rage can't be talked down. All right? And that's the thing people don't understand. If you get into a fight with somebody who's irrational, who's jacked up on rage and bowl pills, and probably can't fight their way out of a wet paper bag, they might surprise you. They might actually beat your ass. You know, you just can't take that chance. Once the fight has commenced, it's on. And there is no stopping a fight once it's in motion. And that's the thing that a lot of people aren't telling people who are training. And if you're training, I'm letting you know now, an accident in a sparring match can lead to a fight. I've seen it happen. It's almost happened with me a couple of times. It wasn't me who hit someone. It was me who got hit. And in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, this motherfucker done hit me really fucking hard. And I'll make another video about that because it's a whole nother story. It wasn't even a sparring match. It was more like an actual fight. But there was a sparring match where I was losing. I talked about it on my TikTok. I'll make another video. Anyway, the whole point is that I'm on the fence because of the simple fact that can I say Will was wrong? I mean, ask any of my married friends, not my married friends that have gotten a divorce. Because if I know that one, he'll be like, you know what? F that B. Now, my married friend is still with his wife. If you ask him, I would have to be there to pull him off of said person who said said thing because I know my friend and I know his wife. And I know that my friend would try to break the neck of said person who said something bad about his wife. But he also has two sons who I also have to pull off. So it would be a three-way clubbering on the poor bastard that said something about the man's wife and their mother. You see? So, can I say Will is wrong? I can only sit on this fence and see how this plays out. Now, Chris refuses to press charges. So, in a sense, I would say that Chris realized he might have stepped over one line too many. Which is what most comedians do, but it also depends on the joke. If I was to get up here and tell Native American jokes, only the good ones, not the ones that reflect Native American racism, Native American derivatives and shit like that, then the natives would not have a problem with me. If I got up there and started talking about Native American derivatives and being called other things, some of them still might have a problem because some of them have gone through the same shit that I've gone through. For instance, when I worked at Kegler's And this one white guy wouldn't stop calling me chief for 3 fucking years straight. You know, there have been plenty of indigenous people who have probably gone through that, and they're not the chief, and they're not on tribal council, and being called chief was just as bad as being called the N-word. So you see how they would be with me? Where if I was doing it and saying that I didn't have any native ties, and I just started calling all the natives chiefs, I'm pretty sure a lot of natives would be pissed off. So therefore, you know, there's a time and a place for everything. You have to know when to shut the fuck up. You have to know when a joke has gone too far. Now, he probably could have recovered by just saying, yo, I'm sorry, I may have gone too far. Which would have probably had to have Will stay in his seat, force him to save face, and that way there wouldn't be any bullshit that comes along behind it. However, that's not what happened. What happened was a clusterfuck waiting to happen, and it did. So, you know, I gotta need some Alka-Seltzer, y'all. I'm sorry. But, you know, these things do happen, and again, I'm on the fence, man. To be honest, Mr. Maddison, it's just a matter of I wasn't really there, and I'm not married. I also don't have kids. So, I can't really say that Will is wrong. I damn sure can't say that Chris is wrong. But I can say he's wrong because he could have stopped the joke. You know what I mean? He wasn't wrong until the jokes got personal. And once the jokes got personal, then he knew he fucked up. But he really knew he fucked up when Will got out that chair and walked over there and pimp slapped the shit out of him. Now, outside of that, you know, I don't really know how to address the slap itself. You know what I mean? I'm not really a big E-Honda guy. So when it comes to fighting, I think that if I'm going to hit someone, I'm not going to slap them. Unless, like, it's a wrestling slap across the chest and we're in the ring. But if we're, like, dead serious on the street, the last damn thing I'm thinking about doing is walking up to another man and slapping him. I might punch him in the face. I might knee him in the dick. But I'm not going to slap him. Now, that being said, I hope this did some kind of justice for you, Mr. Maddison. I thank you, man, and I apologize if this disappoints you, and it probably will. But I will hopefully make it up to you in the second video about fighting, inspiring, matching, or whatever the fuck it was I said. Two stories in the next video. Thank you very much. I got to rewind and watch this to make sure I know what the fuck I said, so brace yourself. Here comes Echo. This is Code for Havoc number 2, BC.